All right, so President Zelensky said in October 2024 that Ukraine has only received 10% of the aid from the 2024 American aid package so far. He says that bureaucracy and internal debates over what weapons to send are the cause of the delay. Zelensky also said that Ukraine has not received all of the 6 or 7 air defense systems that were pledged by NATO members. Do you have
Yep.
any thoughts on the situation, and does that seem to be accurate in your opinion, in your assessment?
Yes. Yes, it's 100% accurate. And unfortunately, the case that there's a lot of words, like I said, and very little action. And sometimes people would also make this sort of mistake, I believe, in the West, especially. They read like, oh, like the package of like 100 bajillion billions, like Trump usually says, without any particular numbers, right, have been sent to Ukraine or some shit. And first of all, most people never like then look up because I mean, understandably, they might not have time or like anything to check it. That first of all, that's not money that business has been sent. That's like old ass equipment that have been disposed of, and also it's all of that. Even if it's announced, doesn't mean it's arriving anytime soon. That's also something many people just don't understand. For example, there was like this, not just the United States, by the way, it applies to Europe as well. For example, there has been this like initiative in, I forgot how it was called exactly, but there was like this initiative in Czech Republic to give us munitions, and that initiative was taken like 2 years. So the announcement was made, but basically nothing arrived in 2 years' time, right? So many people just hear the announcement and they're like, it's there on the front next day. But that's just not how it works because of the bureaucracy, because of the lack of will, political like or otherwise, to do it, because of some sort of like handicaps. For example, Orban is one big fat handicap, right? So you have like a guy like that, basically like one duder in European Union from Hungary, can veto shit and like make it impossible to deliver and things like that. So it's quite complicated. It's much more complicated than it should be in such times, because for them it's just basically talk, bureaucracy, that, right? For us, each day is the day we lose people, lose momentum, lose power, energy, lose lives of civilians and people on the front every day, right? So every day is a delay. It means death and destruction. So, and that's not being dramatic, that's just how it is. So because of that, of course, it's quite difficult to deal with as well. Yeah, I used to be, by the way, not shade to anyone, because I was also like that at the beginning. In 22, I was like reading like some sort of like package, right? And I'm like, yeah, we got it, right? And then you talk to the front and they're like, it will be here in like a year and a half at best, right? So it's just something you don't really think about when you read. It's been decided, a package is going to Ukraine, but it's not as simple, basically.
Okay. If Ukraine got those air defense systems that were promised but not delivered, would it help with the glide bombs and situation?
Hard to say, honestly, because from what I heard, again, it's that's just what I heard, not 100%, but I heard that with cops, it's mostly you have to hit aviation themselves, so the planes mostly. It's but also they use a lot of other shit, right? So, for example, they use Iskander missiles, S-300 missiles. They use X-52, I think they're called, missiles, like a bunch of stuff with that. You can drones, you can use anti-air for that, obviously, right? Like, for example, Kiev currently is not 100% bulletproof, but it's much more protected than it was, for example, at the beginning, obviously. But Kiev is also easier to protect, specifically because it's just not as close to the front, right, as Kharkiv. So with Kharkiv, it's quite difficult. It's like literally on the border with Russia almost. So because of that, it's quite difficult. But other parts of the country, for example, could use, of course, anti-air and things like that to be more protected and to take down. We managed to take down at least half of shit they throw away, sometimes even 70% they throw away, which is, it's much better than if everything of that shit landed there. We wouldn't be here now to speak with you, but at least it's better than nothing, so it's always a plus. to have more anti-air, more defensive stuff. But it's also kind of leaves some areas still unprotected. But it's not much you can do about it. You can't stick like 10 Patriots in Kharkiv and think everything will be fine. It's just quite difficult. But you can do it in other parts of the country. So yeah.
Okay. The United Nations Population Fund recently released a report that estimated that Ukraine's population has declined by 10 million. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, that's correct. If you it's vague, like approximately numbers, but that's the numbers we also have. So that's mostly due to people who left, obviously. So yeah, most people who left in 22. So it's not like it's just recent or anything, but that's about the level of drain we do have. Yes. There's a lot of course, movement within the country as well. So many people moved. Most refugees, quote unquote, haven't left to other countries. They moved within Ukraine itself, right?
Internally
So
displaced.
yeah, internally displaced people, things like that. So for example, in Kharkiv, although it is bombed regularly, there are plenty of people who are from Vovchansk, who are from Kupiansk region, who are from Liptsi, like all sorts of towns in Kharkiv region. And they moved because it was no longer possible to stay where they were. So yeah. um so I'd say that's the numbers that I think are pretty correct. Yeah.
Okay. Now I've got. We just finished up the recent development section. I want to talk to you later about Euromaidan, warfare, human rights, anti-war
Hmm.
protests in Russia, the media coverage of the war and misinformation, Ukrainian politics, NATO, victory and peace, and a few other light items and your reflections on it all. Do you need a break or do you want to power through?
No, I don't need a break. I think we can go at it if
Okay.
you want.
At any point you do, just
Mm-hmm.
let me know. Totally fine. Okay.